Вітаємо вас на українській телемережі «Контакт». Я Марта Czurylowicz і я дуже рада, що проведу з вами наступну годину. Як всі, напевно, знають, в неділю вибори до Верховної Ради України. Підкреслюючи важливість цих виборів для світового суспільства, прем'єр-міністр Канади Стівен Харпер відвідав канадських спостерігачів перед відлетом до України. Перші звіти канадських спостерігачів вказують, що виборчі порушення вже почалися. Почуємо про це від новоназначеної голови місії канадських спостерігачів, сенаторки Рейнел Андрійчук, яка вже на місці в Україні. Рон Кагут розважить нас у своїй сторінці Stay Ukrainian, my friends, своїми засценними розмовами з різними виконавцями на українському фестивалі у Bloor West Village. Через обширність інформації про вибори в Україні сьогодні передачі «Очима культури» не буде. А на другий тиждень доктор Марко Роберстех розповість про українських малярів, імпресіоністів Івана Труша і Миколу Бурачика. Як всі, напевно, знають, в неділю вибори до Верховної Ради України. Підкреслюючи важливість цих виборів для світового суспільства, прем'єр-міністр Канади Стівен Харпер відвідав канадських спостерігачів перед відлетом до України. Святом провадила новоназначена голова місії канадських спостерігачів, сенатор Рейнел Андрійчук.
We owe a debt of gratitude to our Prime Minister for realizing this mission as a continuance of the efforts that he has made to further the issues that are of great concern to us. This largest ever election observation mission sponsored by the Government of Canada is a testament to his strong belief in democracy, freedom, and a democratic Ukraine, that we are all here today. And it is because of him that we are embarking on this very historic mission at this very challenging time in the life of Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome the Prime Minister of Canada on your behalf, the Right Honourable Stephen Harper.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Bonjour à tous. Greetings, everyone. And thank you, Senator, for that very kind introduction. I think it's common knowledge now, Raynel, that you will be leading our delegation to Ukraine. You will be putting to use all the skills you've developed as one of the few people ever in Canada to have served in all three branches of government, in the judiciary, as a judge, in the executive, as an ambassador, and now in the legislature as a senator. So let me take this opportunity to thank you personally for your willingness to undertake this assignment. I couldn't be happier to see it in hands as capable or as committed as yours. Thank you very much. Greetings also to my parliamentary colleagues, to Minister Baird, to Minister Fantino, to Parliamentary Secretary Lois Brown, and to all parliamentary colleagues from all parties who have joined us today. Thank you for being here and for lending your support to this vital enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go any further, I want to congratulate all of you. I congratulate you all because during the forthcoming parliamentary elections in Ukraine, you will be Canada's representatives in an undertaking to which our government attaches the highest importance. That is, our determined effort to help the Ukrainian people hold elections that are both free and fair. More than 500 Canadians will observe this election. And I'm proud to note that this is one of the largest deployments of election observers that Canada has ever fielded. Now, friends, that said, your jobs will not be easy. So you might well ask, why does it matter so much that we observe elections, and why does it matter so much that we observe this one in Ukraine? The answer to the first question is that under this government, Canada's foreign policy is focused on the promotion of freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. The answer to the second question speaks to the uniqueness of our relationship with Ukraine and its quest for freedom, democracy, and justice. The bonds of friendship between Canada and Ukraine are deep and wide. Since 2004, Canada has sent observers to 4 successive Ukrainian elections. This will be the 5th. And again, the mission will be led largely by Ukrainian Canadians. Thanks to waves of immigration going back more than 120 years, Ukraine's sons and daughters now number more than 1.25 million, nearly 4% of all Canadians. And I know many of you are in the room today. And your contribution to the life of Canada, cultural, political, and economic, has been immensely valuable. We also understand that for you, the situation in Ukraine remains deeply personal. The histories of Canada and Ukraine are intertwined, connected by ties of blood and for some by deep personal and family experiences. I shared some of that history when I visited Ukraine 2 years ago. In addition to official visit, I also visited memorials from Ukraine's past, from Ukraine's tortured past. For example, in Kyiv, I visited the statue of Ukraine's national poet, Taras Shevchenko, persecuted by the Tsar for defending freedom. I laid a wreath at the monument of the Holodomor, literally the massacre by famine in which millions died. And I'm proud to say that it was a member of our caucus, one of our colleagues, James Bazan, who persuaded Parliament to call the Holodomor what it was: Stalin's deliberate genocide against the Ukrainian people. We also stood together at Babyn Yar, where another murderous regime, the Nazis, killed thousands. In Lviv, I visited the Lonsky Street Prison Museum. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about that, because it made a deep impression on me. It's a complex of nondescript buildings in the middle of the city. Nearby, attractive houses and small businesses crowd against each other as they would in any Canadian town. Yet for decades, this was the place where Ukrainian freedom went to die. Here, communist secret police interrogated, tortured, and subjected thousands of Ukrainian men, women, and even children to the most horrifying cruelties. This is the terrible memory that the Lonsky Street Prison Museum preserves. I therefore find it deeply ironic and severely disturbing that the museum's director is now himself harassed by the present-day Ukrainian secret police. The charge is revealing state secrets, the secrets apparently of what went on at Lonsky Street in Stalin's day. This brave young man's name is Ruslan Zabile. Ruslan is with us today. I met him during my visit to the museum. I'm glad he can join us, and we should all welcome and acknowledge him here today. Where is Ruslan? Earlier this year, Ruslan told his story to a Canadian parliamentary delegation visiting Ukraine. He spoke of how he was pulled off the street and held incommunicado for 14 hours, interrogated, asked about the liberation movement, his contacts abroad, how 2 years after they were removed, the museum's computers, files, and information have not been returned. Friends, in such rights abuses as these, we see the darker side of Ukraine's history, a darker side that threatens its future. A year ago, I wrote to President Yanukovych to tell him that I am deeply concerned about the trial of former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko. Her prosecution has had every appearance of political motivation. Legal experts agree that it did not reflect accepted norms of due process or fairness. To this day, Tymoshenko remains in prison. So, unfortunately, do many others who have fallen afoul of the Ukrainian government. As our own parliamentary committee, an all-party parliamentary committee, recently concluded, and I quote, "There is serious cause for concern about Ukraine's democratic development and respect for the rule of law," unquote. Now, friends, freedom retreats quietly when small defeats are left unchallenged. That is to say, the road to Lonsky Street may be long, it may end well past the horizon, but its points of departure are rigged votes, lost ballot boxes, voter intimidation, and the abandonment of the rule of law. And all of this, I must add, in a situation where the democratic watchdogs that are so familiar to us, principally a free press, face government intimidation. Friends, under another conservative government, Canada was the first country in the world to recognize the independence of Ukraine. The day after, its declaration, even before the official end of the unlamented Soviet Union. And since that day, through all manner of difficulty, Ukraine has come so far. We, like you, are determined that the journey forward will continue, that there will be no turning back. The journey that began with Ukrainian independence must follow the path that Ukrainians in Canada have so proudly tread, to the political life of a great country based on freedom, democracy, and justice for all. Such societies in this world remain too fragile a minority. By its history and its geography, Ukraine is simply too important. It is too important to Europe. In fact, it is too important to the world to be allowed to slip back into the kind of history from which it so recently emerged. That, my friends, is what is at stake, and you all and we all know it. And by volunteering to observe this election, you are taking a stand in support of Ukraine and in support of democracy. And the Government of Canada stands with you. We continue to call on President Yanukovych to respect judicial independence, to cease the harassment of opposition voices, and to conduct an election that is indeed free and fair. So let me send you on your way with this encouragement. Canada has long been a beacon of hope for those who treasure freedom and value human dignity, not just in Europe, in Ukraine, but all around the world. Our shores will always welcome those in search of a better life. But our values oblige us to do more, and that's where you come in, to take that piece of your life in Canada and to share it with those in other lands. Never forget that the vigilant watcher can hold rulers to account, that the one who seeks and speaks up is truly the guardian of liberty. This election is pivotal for Ukraine. You leave tonight. Nous sommes très fiers de vous. We're very proud of you. Do good work and Godspeed. Slava Ukraini.